what's up, guys? This is Chris Wild of Breaking the Fourth Wall, and we are yet again here for another exciting episode. Happy to report that today I am not alone. I actually have with me Mr. Brian Hayden. What's up, Brian? How you doing today?
I am great. How about yourself, man?
I can't complain. A rough week at work. Unfortunately, we're a couple days late. Speaking of work, on this recording because of the fact that, well, Amadeus Thorne has got a new job, so he's still working out the details with his work schedule to be able to do this. I myself had a couple late days at my job, and Mr. Hayden has some personal things going on, so we do apologize for the lateness of this one, but we're here, we're doing it, so. uh, Again, we were supposed to last week and the week before. The week before we didn't record due to illness. Last week I had done the show by myself, and as I had reported, we were originally supposed to do our wrestling top five and continue our conversation from about 3 weeks ago about the state of pro wrestling when we were talking about sports in general. We're still going to put that on postponement. It's still on our list, but it's going to be on the back burner because I'd rather make sure that we have a full panel. Uh, Obviously, I'd like to have Thorne in on it, and I wouldn't mind getting JT involved as well. Because again, Mr. Hayden, myself, and Thorne were professional wrestlers, so our opinion is kind of an insider opinion, but my son is an outsider looking in, so it's nice to have that kind of like extra perception when we're talking about something of that nature. So, uh, I guess we could start off since I'm mentioning sports. I guess we could start off with this. Might as well get the bad news out of the way first. Colin Kaepernick, the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. What was it last weekend? He made not this past weekend, but the weekend before, he made a name for himself by refusing to stand for the national anthem, stating that it was for reasons of the oppression of black people and that he would not show respect to a flag or country that has oppressed his brothers and sisters. I'm paraphrasing, of course. You can look it up online or watch any news report to catch his actual statements word for word. But to sum it up, that's basically what he said. Um, Keeping true to his word, this past weekend, the game was supposed to be dedicated to the troops, and he yet again sat out during the national anthem. First off, Brian, I'm going to ask you before we even really get into the rant and rave here, which I'm expecting us to get into. How do you feel on the national anthem and the American flag? Is that something that should always be stood up for and hand over heart, show your respect, or is this something that is acceptable to be done simply because it's just a song or just words?
No, I mean, out of respect for the country you live in and everything, I definitely think that you should participate, regardless of what your beliefs are. Same thing with the troops. I mean, you may not agree why if they're over there fighting the war that they're fighting, but you still got to support them regardless because they're fighting, a hell of a war and they're doing something that, quite frankly, I wouldn't do. I'll admit to you, I'm chicken shit.
All right. What do you think of Colin Kaepernick's reasons as it being a form of protest? And you know what? I've actually gotten into a lot of battles with people on Facebook that speak both sides of the coin with this. I myself, ex-military, come from a military family. The things you do not do is you do not respect the flag, disrespect the flag. You do not disrespect the troops. You do not disrespect the national anthem. That's just the way I was brought up. So to me, sitting down for the national anthem as a protest to me is not an exercise of your First Amendment. which is what a lot of people are arguing. Oh, it's his freedom of speech and expression that he could choose to do this, and it's not considered like anti-American. I mean, how do you view that? Do you think that this is an appropriate form of protest?
It's. I mean, like I applaud him for having the beliefs that he has. I just think that the way he went about it was completely wrong, because all that he's done is made everybody focus away from the whole point of him protesting. So I think he would have been better off finding another way to say, hey, this is happening in this country and it's bullshit.
Okay. Do you think he what he's doing is in any way, shape, or form a positive look to?
Not a,
No, obviously you're not going to let me finish the question. Go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. I thought you were. No, like I said, he totally, like I said, he could have found a better way to get the point across than this, because all he did is put a real damper on it.
All right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go a little political here on this, and feel free to jump in at any time on what you think or feel on this. Um, Colin Kaepernick, you're a fucking retard. I'm gonna say it straight out, and I hope somebody somewhere gives you a link to this show to hear this. You are a fuck up. You're an idiot. You're disrespecting the country that has made you a millionaire, has given you a career throwing a ball around and playing a game 16 weeks out of the year. I won't make what you make a game this year. And you want to talk about how you're oppressed? You don't even know the struggles of the black community. And I'm not sitting here trying to pretend like I do. I'm a white guy from Northeast Philadelphia, born and raised. I don't know the struggles of the black people. I do know it ain't as severe as some of you try to paint it out to be. I don't think I don't think people are still in slave mode or apartheid is still existing, but yet it's being made out to be that way. But let's be honest. You're not doing this to further that cause. You're doing this just to be an attention whore. You want the spotlight because you're not relevant anymore. You were never that great of a quarterback to begin with, but you're about to be traded. Nobody freaking cares about you. So now all of a sudden you're going to stir the pot and pretend like you give two craps about this Black Lives Matter movement or oppression of the African American race. Yet you've done nothing to help these people, and you want to pretend that your whole entire reason for doing it is because you give a shit about the black community? If you gave a shit about it, why aren't you down there helping to build better schools, get better education programs in there, donate books? You've got the money. $19 million a year. You've got the money. You can make a major dent in some community somewhere that would help better black people's lives or livelihoods that may be living in less than savory conditions. That's somebody trying to make a difference within the community, not disrespecting a country that has given you the right and the privilege and the ability to live a dream that most of us would never be able to obtain. You, sir, are an ungrateful bitch. Am I right or wrong in that? Brian?
I'm just thinking.
Oh. I don't mean to go off on a rant. If I'm offending anybody in this, it is not my intention. Unless, of course, it's somebody who feels that the correct way to handle a situation or resolve is to disrespect a flag. Like, I don't know if you remember a couple months ago or so, there was supposed to be this deal where it's like if you stomp on a flag, you take a picture of you standing on a flag. That was a protest, to America. You remember that little movement?
Yeah, I saw those videos.
Right. So if you're one of those people listening right now and are offended by my words, good. Because fuck you too. My family has bled for that flag. Many other people's families have bled for that flag. You don't disrespect it. The words of the national anthem, the song of the national anthem, has nothing to do with the oppressions of anybody. It is overcoming the oppressions of others. Our national anthem was created because of our independence that we fought and died for, and is still representative of the people who have fought and died bravely for us to live the privileged life that we live. And no, I don't mean privilege like everybody's fucking Donald Trump privileged or Bill Gates privileged, but I mean we live in a country that, yes, has its problems, but is still one of the better countries in the world. We still enjoy, although we're losing them a little bit at a time, we are still a country with the most amount of freedom, including freedom to act like a dumbass. The problem is everybody thinks that just because you have the freedom to act like a dumbass, they seem to think it means that they also have the freedom to not have to take ridicule for it. Well, no, the freedom that gives you the right to think that you could disrespect the flag or use the race card or whatever ignorant shit that people want to use, it also gives me the right to blast you for it. It gives me the right to call you a moron. It gives me the right to re-educate you in some way, shape, or form on why you are wrong. And you know what? If you feel that I'm wrong, hey, you know what? On the message boards, leave a comment. Tell me your side. I'll read it on the next show. Or better yet, you got Skype in. Chris Stolley 77. Talk to me face to face in the panel. We'll talk to you. As long as you keep it respectful. I'm not attacking anybody personally. I'm not going to attack anybody personally. This show is about giving opinions and views. Mostly about entertainment, which is why we're on this subject matter, because football, whether you want to look at it in any other way, shape, or form, is still a form of entertainment, so it falls under our cliche. And under our cliche, entertainment or political, you're an asshole, Kaepernick. And anybody else who actually thinks that this is okay, you're an asshole too. I don't give a fuck if it's your constitutional right. It's morally reprehensible.
I just wanted to elaborate on one of the points you made when you were saying a lot of radio stations and whatnot are saying that a lot of, how you were saying how Kaepernick's looking to get cut. A lot of places are saying that now because of this whole controversy, they're saying that Chip Kelly's hands are tied. Like if he wanted to get rid of him, they're saying now that he may not do it based on this whole thing going on.
It's ridiculous. Hey, Brian, I got Tony here. Your Skype is up and running, correct?
I can get it up and running.
All right, get it up and running. I'm going to drop you off of this call so I can grab Tony in. and then I'll grab you into the conversation, okay?
Okay.
All right, man. So we are still going to continue this conversation, ladies and gentlemen. Just bear with me. I'm just going to get the other guys in on this conversation. You.
Hello?
I'm here.
Hey.
Hey, you caught us in the middle of already recording. Let me get Brian into the conversation here.
Sure.
Uh,
I can hear you.
What's that?
I can still hear you. We're still together.
Oh, on the Facebook thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm adding you into the phone call with Tony here. So.
Hey, I think I'm in now. I'm here.
All right. So we got everybody here. Brian, do me a favor. Catch Thorne up here on what's going on. I've got to step away for a couple minutes. Let him know that we were talking about the Colin Kaepernick and get his opinions on the national anthem situation. All right.
Okay. Hey, Tony. Hey, how you doing, man? It's pretty good, pretty good. He pretty much said it all right there. We were all talking about Kaepernick's deciding that he'd rather sit down during the national anthem in protest of the whole Black rights movement and whether or not it was the right thing to do. What's your opinion? Because I've been living under a rock since I started my new job, I heard some stuff about it, but I'm not clear as to what exactly is going on. If you're asking me my opinion on just your statement alone, who the fuck is anybody to say anything about the national anthem? It's our national anthem for years, decades, centuries. Who is this guy to say something about that? Right, and because my opinion of it is, I understand, what he was the point that he's trying to get across, but the way that he did it was very, 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 very stupid because all everybody's focused on right now is him sitting down during the national anthem rather than the Black rights movement. All right, first of all, who is this guy? He is one of the quarterbacks for the San Francisco 49ers. He used to be, the guy, but now at this point, a lot of places are saying that he might be losing the starting job. Well, yeah. You're totally disrespecting this country. Not everybody agrees with the things the country is doing, but you're still living here. We've had that song for as long as I can remember. Duh, it's been our national anthem for how long? What's the point of disrespecting by sitting down and just basically not giving a fuck about the song? What's this whole Black rights movement thing going on anyway? I mean, everybody lives matter, not just black.
I love the fact he's got a metronome going in the background. I know it's his turn signal.
Yeah. Yeah, I just got out of the house, and by the time I got home from work and had to do a couple of things around the house, and, my wife made dinner and all, I was like, okay, cool. I'd take like an hour nap, then I got my shower, and ready to head out the door, and realized, oh crap, it's 6:30, I'm like a half hour late.
Yeah.
So then I realized it, because I was too busy, doing things, and of course my daughter wanted to spend some time with me, whatever, which was a beautiful thing, always is. And I get on the road, and like, let me just do it now, even though it's only 30 minutes worth, let me just do it now, clean the van out, get ready to go on the road. There's a lot going on over here in Philly and Jersey to, make some money off of some Uber. That's no, plug or anything, just saying.
Yeah, by the way, if you need Uber, contact Mike Thorne here. He needs some money.
Right, thank you. Yeah.
And if you make any money, we get a little bit of royalty for promotion.
The only reason why I'm really doing it is because, well, it's extra money. I just started the job, so I don't get paid for Labor Day, which really sucks. So in order to make up for that money, I have to do this tonight, tomorrow night, and possibly even Sunday.
Well, trust me, I know the feeling. I wanted to make sure we got this recorded because, we had the Miss Wednesday, as I explained before. that our normal recording day because of the fact that you started your new job. Brian was dealing with some personal issues. I myself was late getting home from work. We couldn't sync up to do what we needed to do. With it being Labor Day weekend, like I wanted to make sure we recorded tonight, so that way after we're done recording, I'm going to be taking off as well.
Okay.
I probably won't even have this up until tomorrow, which is the 3rd for anybody listening in. You'll know that, we recorded this on Friday the 2nd, and it'll probably be up Saturday the 3rd. Reason of being is because I won't have the time to mix it down, put it to the video, blah, 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 blah. Once we're done recording, I'll just have it set aside till I get home later tonight or whatever the case may be.
Family first, anyway.
What's that?
Family comes first.
Exactly. So, but I wanted to make sure we didn't miss another week. We missed that 1 week due to illness. It was my fault. And then last week we couldn't sync up, so I wound up doing the show by myself, which, I did it because I didn't want to miss 2 weeks in a row, but I don't want to do it without a panel again. Simply because I don't like hearing myself talk for an hour.
Yeah, you do. Don't even try that.
Maybe 10 years ago.
But not now.
Not now, no. I'm happier having people to play off of.
Okay, good time.
So, now that we've gotten the political part of the show out of the way, if anybody else has any final thoughts on it before we move on to topics.
Nah.
Good.
It's not worth fighting over. It's not and I'm not saying we're fighting. It's not worth even talking about it anymore because what's done is done. Everyone's got their own respected opinion, no matter what it may be or may not be, whatever. Someone wants to do what they want to do. We live in a country where they have the right to do what they want to do, no matter what it may be, other than actually, taking someone's life for a serious crime. What the guy did was unacceptable, but he still has the right to not do certain things, such as stand for a national anthem, which I think is still very ignorant, disrespectful, but it is what it is.
Well, that's exactly the point. And I made that earlier. You may not have heard it because we were Brian and I were originally doing the conversation through Facebook Messenger.
Okay.
Since I didn't think you were coming on because of you being late.
Right.
That's why I had to switch everybody over so we could all be in the conversation together. But in the conversation, I had basically stated, and I'm going to summarize real quick for you because the fans that are listening have already heard me say this.
Right.
It doesn't matter what the reasoning is. There has to be another way to do your protest, to get your point across.
Right.
That isn't respecting the country that is even giving you the right to speak your freaking mind to begin with.
Right.
That's putting it succinctly. I'm not going to go back into that tirade, but
sure.
You know this as well as I do, Thorne, because you grew up with me, basically. You know the family I came from and everything else. What's the one thing you do not do? You do not disrespect this country's flag, anthem, military. You don't. You just don't.
You come from a very strong patriotic background. I don't care if someone's patriotic or not. It's still the fact of the matter that when someone sings the Star Spangled Banner, the national anthem, you rise, you put your hand over your heart, and you respect. At least respect the others that are doing it. For instance, and I'm going to go into a little bit, not a tirade, please, but into an example. And forgive me for saying what I'm about to say if anyone does be offended. I don't go to church. I was a practicing Catholic. I was raised Catholic, but I don't believe in certain things. Moving on. When it comes to being in the building, will I do the sign of the cross and all this other movements, things like that? For the sake of the respect of the family I'm with, or friends I'm with, and the people around me, if I can get away with not doing it, I'm not gonna. But I do. When it comes to the prayers, I just keep my mouth shut as if I don't know what is being said. Respect to others around you is just do the gestures, kneel, stand, whatever it is, the aerobic class.
turn in the money, help the church out and what they're doing for you, and you move on, no matter what kind of church it is. So in this guy's case, stand the hell up, put your hand over your heart, and quote unquote swallow your pride and get over yourself.
Do you feel that this country has gotten way too politically correct? That we're overly concerned about people becoming offended by something people say or do so badly that we don't want to correct people when they do something that's offensive?
This country has turned into nothing but a bunch of pussies. Bottom line, someone, somewhere, somehow went, they had a bad childhood and went, well, because my mommy and daddy didn't raise me right, I have the right now as an adult to change things. Okay, great. That's wonderful. You get thrown down the steps as a child. I'm sorry to hear that. You went to therapy. You got things taken care of. It is what it is. You move on. You don't let your children get raised that way. But you also don't say, if a parent looks at their child wrong or points a finger at the child, you throw them in jail, give the kid the typhus. It's going crazy about that. People have been racist for many, 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 many years. And I'm sorry it's happened. My sisters didn't own slaves. It is what it is. I apologize that it's happened to you. But how the fuck dare anybody or any time go, oh, Black Lives Matter, I'm not standing for national anthem, I'm going to sit here. Excuse you? Get your ass up off the bench. You're also a very high-profile public figure. Don't you think people are going to get really angry or even start something more? We're going to be in a civil war.
Well, see, you're bringing up something that's I remember back in the day. I don't know if you remember, like Charles Barkley. Being from Philadelphia, we remember when Charles Barkley played for the 76ers. Even if you weren't a fan, you knew Charles Barkley was a Sixer.
Right.
And he was one of the first people that was very blatantly quoted in stating that I am not a role model. The fuck you're not. Are you a high-paid celebrity? Whether it's music, movies, plays, sports. Are you nationally wide, televised, and put into the spotlight whether you're performing your craft or not? If the answer is yes, then there is somebody fucking looking up to you. You are a fucking role model.
That's right.
Your actions is being looked up to by somebody in some way as a positive role model. Why do you think we have so many fucking gangbangers right now? It isn't because the gang lifestyle is cool, but it's because gangster rap has painted it out to be cool.
Yeah.
I will call you out on it. Plain and simple. Rap has created the urban scene. I'm not saying that there wasn't ghettos. I'm not saying there wasn't crime and violence, but the boom of gang-related violence and the boom of gang members and different forms of gangs is directly due to the fact that it was painted out since the fucking 1990s that it was cool to be in a gang and be a gangster and a gang banger and representing your hood. You made these kids. And you made these kids because you were irresponsible with the responsibility that you took on when you signed your contract to be an entertainer and have millions of fans listening to your product.
Now, the same can be said that heavy metalists such as you and I'm a huge heavy metal fan. I love hard rock. There's a lot of things that are in that to be said as satanic. Am I a Satanist? Absolutely not. However, the boards that come out, there's some shit I really, really like. I can relate to some of the stuff. And it's all the rest of it is just pure entertainment when I rock out. Does that make me a Satanist? Absolutely not. Am I going out there burning crosses and hanging them upside down? Absolutely not. How many people do I know that are heavy metal fans that are out there right now burning crosses upside down?
None.
From what I understand, none.
None, so except for a couple.
As a Satanist.
Except for a couple black metal listeners in Sweden. Yeah, nobody's creating anarchy. Same with a lot of punk rockers from the 70s. Punk was definitely anarchist society, but you didn't really see a whole lot of violence caused by it. But you also have to think about it. The music and the lyrics that were created, yes, they painted a picture, but they were a story. And they were treated as such, a story. Now you listen to a gangsta rapper and the what they're portraying out. It's not a story. They're telling you that my criminal lifestyle has made me allowed me to pull bitches, have diamonds all over my clothing and all over my fingers and all over my neck, and driving the big cars and drinking the expensive drinks, and I could be high all the time. Life is euphoric because I'm a gangbanger, and anybody who tries to take that shit from me, I'm gonna bust a cap in your ass. That is, I just described about 50 different rap artists' lyric content in one phrase.
Yeah.
How can anybody take that as just a story? It's really more like a blueprint.
It sounds like I was listening to some rap. I don't even know what the hell it was, but my kid likes rap. Okay, fine, I don't like it, but I can't control that. And I said, you know what it sounds like to me every time? Cash money flow, yo. Smoke this, smoke that. Shoot your mom. Cash money flow, yo. So it sounds like. It's all it ever does sound like is this, that, and the third.
Exactly. Brian, you're quiet. What about you? How you feeling on this?
I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head.
And there's some rap I do like. There is some rap I really do like that it has a good quality story behind it. Eminem, like him or hate him, there's a couple of songs that he's got out that I really, really do like because they have a story and it's good stuff. Otherwise, no way. The guy Drake, he sounds so monotoned. I can't understand a word he's saying anyway, so it sounds to me like friends, yeah, cash, yeah, flow, yeah. What the fuck is that?
Yeah. Well, I think rap has lost its creativity. The hip hop scene has lost its creativity in general. I mean, I was never a major fan of it. I did like the beginning of the rap scene, like Run DMC or Fresh Prince or the Fat Boys or the like, where it was the MC, the battle of the microphone. And the stories and the lyrics were really well thought out and intellectual. And if they weren't really thought out and intellectual in the sense of telling a very positive or at least intriguing story, they were fun. They were party. You know what I mean? And they were upbeat. They were something you would put on because you want to laugh or you want to feel good. And then all of a sudden, it's just turned into this, where they can't even make two words rhyme anymore. Now they just make up words as they go along, or they figure a rhyme is using the N word every 2 seconds. And yes, I'm sorry, I don't care if there's an ER at the end of it or an A at the end of it. It's still the same word. It's still an ignorant word.
That and the cursing.
I can care less about the cursing. As a songwriter myself, I do cursing. I mean, we have a show here where we curse.
Right.
You throw a parental advisory sticker on it, then it's, our responsibility as parents to make sure that if we don't want our kids exposed to this, they don't listen to it. I'm fine with the profanity, but using the words like the N word or promoting violence in the fact of glorifying it to the extent of being a good way of life, live by the sword, die by the sword type scenario.
Yeah.
You're wrong. You're being irresponsible with the power that you have as an entertainer.
And then they're gonna say, well, I'm producing it. That doesn't mean you have to listen to it, which is their scapegoat of I'll still be able to produce and make my billions of dollars and live in my boat and have a gun by my side if I want one. It's up to you not to listen to it. It's up to you as a parent not to let your kids listen to what it is I'm listening to. So we're saying, but in that same breath now, you're still promoting going down to the hood, shoot up the neighborhood, smoke a blunt when you're done, and kick back. Have you shown he's next to you? Really?
Well, there we go, back with the made up words again, shorty. I don't know why people tolerate this. If I was a woman and somebody called my ass shorty, I'd whoop the living fuck out of them.
That's
Yeah, who the fuck you calling short, bitch? You know?
and it's not even we're not even going into a prejudice thing. It's just this is our complete opinion on the difference between and why people do what they do.
Well, see, the thing is like you could argue the point that we're old. We're all pushing 40 or already there, you know. And of course, you think back to when we were teenagers.
Trying to speak for yourself.
That's why I said we're all getting close or crossed over. I'm getting close. He crossed over.
I'm crossed over.
You know,
crossed over to the dark side of the hill.
But when we were teenagers, we had words that parents thought were retarded. I mean, remember when we used the word decent?
Yeah.
Remember when we used bad as good?
Yes.
You know, and stuff of that nature. I mean,
well, if that's the case, you want to get into it. Michael Jackson, and God rest his soul, he was a role model. They go after him for all kinds of crazy nonsense.
Yeah, but you know what? He did a lot of positive in the world. As crazy as he was, he would write songs like Heal the World, you know, as a perfect example. And, I mean, he gave a lot to charity, and especially to, like, abused children. Like, forget about the bullshit of whether he did or did not molest children. I don't know if he did or not. I don't believe it. I personally do not. Was he nutty? Was he out of his fucking mind? Yes. Would he hurt a child? I don't see that about him. But that's my personal opinion.
This just popped in my head, too. This really bugs the hell out of me to no end.
Okay.
Beyonce. I was watching a thing called Lip Sync Battle.
Yeah.
LL Cool J's in it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Public great writer. Nothing negative. He's always having fun, always having a good time. And Beyonce came on the show, and she exited within seconds because that's her gimmick, that's her thing. And I thought, she's from the ghetto, she's from the poor side of things and whatever else. She doesn't sing about that kind of thing. She doesn't promote that kind of thing that I'm aware of. And even if she does, it is what it is. But I don't like the way she all of a sudden now goes, I'm better than you. Bitch, you came from the neighborhood. And now you're better than me?
Well, she's one of those people like the Colin Kaepernick that we were talking about, because it was, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, because you're more of a sports guy than Tony is. Correct me if I'm wrong here. It was the past Super Bowl that she did the halftime show where she promoted the new Black Panthers in a choreographed dance move of basically promoting violence against police and the rise of the Black Panthers. Or the resurrection of the Black Panthers, I should say, because the Panthers were around in the 60s and 70s, and then that gang disappeared, and now they're back with the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah, don't recall. I really don't pay attention to the halftime show. That's usually my potty break.
That's because Metallica ain't on it. But,
that's right. But when they are, I'll be sitting there front row.
But yeah, I mean, she kind of did the same move that Colin Kaepernick did. You know, is that you're glorifying this violence hate group and this violence hate movement and racially charged movement to what? You're not doing anything to further their cause. You're just gaining publicity for yourself.
That's what it is. All she's doing is doing the movement to gain more publicity for herself, to keep her name known. That's the only reason why she's doing it.
I don't know. But I think we've wasted enough time on this show on that stupid shit. I mentioned Metallica as a segue into Metallica last week. Dropped a brand new single for their upcoming album, Hardwired to Self-Destruct, which is due out November 18th.
I'm buying that.
I was going to say, last week I already gave my review of it since I was talking to myself, yesterday. Or, excuse me, last week. So, now that I got you two guys here, you guys have heard the song, yes?
It's off the hook.
It's great. Like I was saying to you before we started the show, it sounds like Metallica again.
It does. It sounds like Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning all over again. And I love it. I can't wait to hear it over and over and over.
Well, for those of you that don't know, Metallica for the longest time was a very thrash metal band. And then after their 1991 multi-platinum album, the Black Album, Metallica, they kind of took a left turn in their style of music, something that a lot of fans didn't like for one reason or another. You know, I'm not going to get into the whole sold out thing or anything else. I personally have my own views and opinions on it. Being a singer-songwriter myself, that's what I base my opinions on what they did on. But a lot of people have stated that it's been too long, and especially after Saint Anger and Load and Reload, that Metallica could never go back to that style.
I asshole, they can't.
Yeah, I think this song, as 3 minutes and 50 seconds as it was, which is really weird for Metallica, such a short song. I think Metallica really, really put this out there so early before the album's release as a big fuck you to all the naysayers. Yeah, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Now, the weird I talked about this last week. I don't know if you guys listened to the show that you weren't on.
Oh, shoot.
But Hardwired to Self-Destruct is reported to be a 2 CD album.
Nice.
Now and it's supposed to be over 80 minutes long.
Wow.
Now they're also supposed to release a deluxe edition of it, which has a 3rd CD in it with some of the like unreleased type tracks. Like they released, I don't know if you remember, like a year ago they released a track called Lords of Summer. It was originally thought that it was going to be on this album, and here it's only going to be on the deluxe 3rd disc.
Oh well.
Right, but here's what I found weird. In disc 1 and disc 2 of the actual album, for 80 minutes worth of music total, there is only going to be 6 songs on each CD. You can go to Metallica.com and get the track list, but it is literally 6 CDs on disc 1, 6 CDs on disc 2, yet this album is going to be 40 minutes long. How long of a song did they songs did they write?
They did what they, like you said, they're giving a big F you to everyone that was a naysayer, and they're saying, we can still do it. We took a left turn. It didn't work. We made our right-hand turn and came right back to where we belong. Hardcore thrash metal. That's what they are.
Brian?
Agreed.
Well, let's talk about the song "Hardwired." I don't know if you guys heard it as just the song, or if you saw the music video that kind of came with it. The video was very, very old school in the fact that it was just like them in a circle with the camera circling around them, and it was very dark, you know, kind of black and whitish with strobe light effect.
Oh, nice.
You know, so look it up on YouTube. You could find the actual official music video to it. But
right. I'm gonna do that.
Let's hear some of your pros and your cons to the song. Let's pick the song apart.
Sure.
What did you think was positive about the song?
I didn't get a chance to I only heard it one time. And I tried listening to it the best I could because it was at work when I heard it.
Right.
But just to hear the way Hetfield performed, the way the band backed him up, it brought me back to listening to Battery for the first time. It was just wowzers. He didn't care. He just went out and said what he had to say, and he did his thing. He was James Hetfield all over again.
All right, Brian?
Glad to hear that I think it started with Saint Anger, but when they got to this album, I was glad to hear that the stupid snare drums are gone. I hate those drums so much. That doom, doom, doom got on my nerves.
See, I have a personal theory as far as Saint Anger is concerned. A lot of people call that like the worst Metallica album that's ever been put out. As a music lover and as a songwriter, I disagree. And my personal theory on that is that if Lars would have tuned that fucking snare drum the right way, and if uh, Kurt had actually done some guitar solos on the tracks, because that was one of my issues with it was there was no guitar solo. Where's a Kurt Hammett signature solo? You know,
Yeah.
so if those two elements were added into Saint Anger, I don't think people would have hated the album as much as they did. Again, it's a personal opinion. I'm not basing this on anything other than what I hear when I listen to the songs to the album, and I still listen to the songs of the album. I just have trained myself over the years to ignore that goddamn snare drum.
I just kind of keep my hearing aid out and I don't bother with it.
But lyrically, I think it was a very solid album. Musically, it was kind of basic. It was really just the effects they added to them, or the non-correct tuning of the snare that would, that ruined that album. As far as Hardwired, I love the fact that it was just straight aggression from beginning to end.
Yeah.
There was no let up to it.
Nope.
And lyrically, it was a very basic song lyrically, but I think James found the perfect way to sum up the song. I mean, the chorus itself is hooky as all fuck. And, it should be. It's a very simple, we're so fucked shit out of luck, hardwired to self-destruct. That's all you need to say in this song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's definitely a positive in my mind that you were actually able to grab that aggressive feeling out of people that have been waiting to have this outlet for a very long time for Metallica. And just give it to them in 3 simple lines. My only negative to this song, I'm going to again point at Kurt Hammett. That guitar solo was way too fucking short. That's my negative. It seemed like 10 seconds and it was over, and it was only a couple riffs in it, and that was it. You know what I mean? And that's not a Metallica guitar solo.
No.
What do you guys think? What were some of the negatives to the song? Something you think Metallica could have done better?
Longer guitar solo, yeah. I didn't hear, like I said, I only heard the song one time. I was at work, so I didn't get a chance to give my full focus.
Okay.
Other than, holy crap, they just said that's Metallica? Wait a minute, and I turned it up and, dude, this rocks! I heard F and X, that's all I heard. And I went, alright, it's all in here, they're back, we're good.
Alright, Brian?
Just the length of the song, I think it could have been a little bit longer.
Really? You just didn't like the fact that it was short?
Yeah, can't really nitpick it too much, personally.
Well, I kind of did my research, and I mean, on average, Metallica songs are anywhere between 5 to 7 minutes long. On average. There has only been one other Metallica song that was ever under 4 minutes, and that was Motor Breath on the original Kill 'Em All.
Wow.
But Motor Breath had a full guitar solo. So, I mean, do you think...
Guys, keep talking, I'm going to put you on mute for a minute.
Okay, so do you think, Brian, do you think that maybe the length of the song would be the guitar solo, what Thorne and I have said, or what do you think?
Undoubtedly, yeah.
Or do you think it would be something else that would have really added to the song?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. It definitely, guitar solo would have been good.
Now, I have heard rumor. I don't know how true it is. This is just simply rumor. I'm reporting this as rumor, so take it with a grain of salt here. It's. I don't have any fact to back this up. Okay, it's word of mouth only. But I heard that this release of Hardwired is really just kind of a promotional release of Hardwired, and that on the album, it's actually going to be longer. Like the whole entire song. Like they edited up for just releasing it to the radio stations and everything else, but that it actually is more of like a 6, 7, 8 minute song with a lot more parts to it.
That's intriguing.
Well, again, it kind of makes sense with a CD, a single disc, only containing 6 songs. but yet being at minimum 20 minutes per disc. You can't have 6 songs on one disc at 3 minutes apiece. 3.5 minutes apiece.
No. I mean, stranger things have happened. I mean, remember that one song? I can't remember the name of it, but Moby did a song with I want to say Gwen Stefani, and on the radio and on TV it was one way, and on the album it was completely different.
Well, yeah, I've heard that numerous times. I've also seen it where an artist will do a song a particular way on the album, but when they perform it live, it sounds absolutely nothing like what was on the album because they only recorded it that way for the album, and when they play it live, they're playing it the way they wanted it to be played. You know what I mean? I can't think of off the top of my head anybody in recent memory that I could think of like that. I know Nine Inch Nails has done it numerous times, where they'll completely change a song, simply because they wanted to. It's Trent Reznor. He's weird. He's a genius, but he's fucking weird.
Nobody's doubting that.
Yeah, and I mean, the long and the short of it is like, how likely are you to purchase Hardwired to Self-Destruct, the album, when it releases on November 18th? And are you going to pick it up the day it releases? Are you going to wait a while? Are you going to wait to see what the reviews on it are going to be before you pick it up? Or maybe if they release another track?
No, I'll definitely, I don't know if I'll get it day one, but I'll definitely get it within that first week. I've liked Metallica for a long, long time.
All right. Well, I think I'm day one. I haven't been this excited for anybody's album, particularly Metallica's, since 1997 when they released Load, and I was at the midnight release for Load. So I'm absolutely chomping at the bit for this album. You know what I mean? When they released Reload, I picked it up when I could pick it up. When they released Saint Anger, I picked it up when I could pick it up. Death Magnetic, I pretty much waited on Death Magnetic until it was like on sale. And it's not that because it was a terrible album. I couldn't justify going for the expense at the time, so I waited for it to be on sale. I don't think I want to wait for this one. I think I want to be the night that it releases. I think I want to be having that in my CD player and banging my head as hard as I did when I was, 10 years old and first discovered Metallica.
Oh, God, yeah. I remember the day I was walking with my high school buddy, Joe Smith, and we were walking down Cotman Avenue, and I don't even remember what I was listening to on my Walkman, but I said, "Hey, what are you listening to?" He goes, "Metallica." I said, "Well, who's that?" I didn't know who it was, and because I lived under a rock for so long, he goes, "Here." So he gave me the Master of Puppets album. He rewound it for me. I listened to it, and I hear a strum of the guitar. I went, "This is heavy metal." Okay, and I hear, and I went, "Oh shit!" So it went from ding, 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 oh. A smile was on my face. I just didn't know how to react to it, other than, wow, this is really, really cool. So for them to go from what they were doing to basically that again, really, really rocks. That's just my personal opinion of it. I think they really did a great job with what I did hear of it, and I can't wait to hear it again.
So, all right, well, then I'll propose the same question to you. Obviously, you're going to be picking up Hardwired to Self-Destruct when it comes out in November. Are you picking it up day one? Are you going to wait for another review or another track to be released before you think about picking it up?
If their album sounds anything like that song does, in any way, size, shape, or form, I will wait for a couple reviews, and I'll tell you why. I'm not spending $60, $70, $80 on the package, and they have a one-hit wonder, which Metallica doesn't do that, and there's no justifying what I just said in any way, size, shape, or form. But what I'm trying to get at is, I liked, when I heard Saint Anger, I only liked one song. That was it. So that justifies why I just said what I had said. In that same breath, I don't want to be around thousands of people in line and have them sell out. I'd rather just wait a little bit, get a couple opinions. Oh, you liked it? That's great. And oh, you're back in stock? Cool, I'll be right there.
All right. Well,
everybody's gonna be in line for it.
all right. Well, I just had kind of an idea. Maybe November 18th, since out of the group, it seems like I'll be the one that does a review of, or not a review. I'll be picking it up the day it releases, the night it releases. Because I'm gonna go grab it. I'm so hyped for this album. I'm gonna grab it the day it comes out. I'll make sure I have the money aside, and I'm gonna pick up the deluxe edition because I want the third disc.
Hell yeah!
How about when I pick it up, man? We whether we record it for the fans or we do a reaction afterwards, we'll all hop online and I'll pop the tracks on, and we'll have a listening party. We'll check it out all at the same time, and we can give a review to it.
I'm all for that.
That'd be cool.
All right, so we'll make a date of it the night of November 18th when it releases. The one thing I think the whole entire panel can agree on is that Metallica has always been very influential to us.
Yes.
In one way, shape, form, or another. As a musician, Metallica was a major influence, not only in me as a singer-songwriter, but the type of singer and songwriter I wanted to become. You know, Metallica shaped me into the musician that I am, or was, since I'm not in a band right now. For Tony, it kind of really defined his childhood, his teenage years, his upbringing. Brian, I assume, would probably fall around the same way. Like, how did Metallica? What does Metallica mean to you? Your experiences of the band throughout their 30-plus year career.
You're asking me or Brian?
I'm asking both of you.
Brian, go ahead.
For me at this point, it just means the friendships that I've had with people that I'm close to. We've all been fans of Metallica for a long time, so anytime I think of them, I think of all the memories. So that's why I was saying, hearing the songs sounding like the old days just brings back all those memories, and it's good.
Right.
Right on. Thorn?
For me, Metallica, for me, changed my life completely. I grew up listening to, and I'm not saying anything bad about the station, just Oldies 98. So I grew up on the Sinatra and then the Bee Gees and Beatles and all that other shit. And as great of music as that is, it still was something I was forced to listen to. I didn't know what else existed at all. I knew a little country, which I'm not a fan of either. And then Metallica came along. And to me, anyway. And it totally just changed my life, my perspective on music in general. Just everything about Metallica has done positivity to me, for me. How's it going? Full regular? There's a couple of songs, thank you. There's a few songs in particularly from different albums that when I feel a certain way, I pop it on and it makes me feel better. Or it keeps me in the mood I'm in.
All right, well then, you know, I was gonna use this as a segue into our top 5 since I had both of you here. But you know what? I think since we're on the Metallica subject and something you just said, I think it'd be even better. Give me your top 3 all-time Metallica songs out of their catalog of songs. And I know there's a bunch of them, but there has to be, from number 3 to number 1, the songs that mean the most to you or you connect the most to.
Welcome Home.
Okay, that's number 3?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your number 2?
For Whom the Bell Tolls.
And your number 1?
No Leaf Clover.
Wow, that's definitely a different departure. Why No Leaf Clover?
Because the freight train's going away, then the freight train's coming your way. The trouble is going away from you, the danger's leaving, then all of a sudden you have to defend yourself. Let's fucking fight. It's coming your way.
All right, fair enough. Brian, number 3.
Unforgiven 2.
Okay. Number 2.
Number 2 would be Nothing Else Matters.
Great song. Number 1.
Fuel.
Why Fuel?
Love that freaking song.
Why Fuel?
It's so hard rocky, and I love drag racing, so it just fits. It meshes with that whole vibe.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Tony, you threw me off.
Hell,
I really expected Thorn Within to be your number 1.
You know what? It would normally be my number 1, but I also haven't been a part of that. Thank you. In so long, and when I really, really want to release with something and whatever I'm feeling, I turn on No Leaf Clover. I don't know why. I just do. I also feel that Thorn Within, for me, brings me back to a time when my ego was bigger than my body, and I should just kept my mouth shut with a lot of things, and I did.
All right, fair enough. Well, my number 3, surprisingly enough, my number 3 would be kind of contrast to Brian here. Would actually be Unforgiven 3. From Death Magnetic. I really love the lyric design and how even more personal the lyrics became for James. Number 2 would be Bleeding Me off a Load.
Oh, that was a good song.
That was I connected to that song like nobody's business. But my number 1 has been and always will be, in my opinion, the heaviest fucking song ever in the history of music. Yes, I know there's people that played faster than Metallica or played a lower octave than Metallica or whatever the case may be. But for me, this was a song that it really introduced me to Metallica. And to this day is probably the song that I'm ready to fucking wreck shit whenever it comes on. And that's The Thing That Should Not Be off of Master of Puppets.
Yeah, that's a really good... I didn't think of that. Alright, I will be doing that my 3.
That song just, it gets the adrenaline going. It's so fucking deep and dark and fuck you, we're metal and we're here, we're gonna fuck shit up.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm with you on that one, I really am.
Alright, on that note then, we're gonna go ahead and cut this one off because we're already at 47 minutes since Thorne had joined us in here. So I definitely know we're over time. I want to thank the panel for coming on and sharing their opinions. Guys, if you like what you're hearing, please like, share, comment, subscribe. You know, let us comment down below. Let us know what your favorite Metallica songs are. Let us know what you think of the new Hardwired song. What do you think of the Colin Kaepernick thing? Or what do you want us to talk about? Give us some suggestions and ideas or some questions that we can answer on air. Any final thoughts, Brian?
Not here. Just everybody have a great weekend.
Right on. Thorne?
I really don't have. I can't think of anything. So just have a great weekend. Enjoy Labor Day and be safe. Of all things ever, be safe.
Well, see, I'm gonna mirror Thorne here. Thank you guys very much for listening. Have a safe and wonderful Labor Day weekend, and remember, bang that head that doesn't bang. We'll catch you later. Thanks a lot. Hey, what's up, guys? This is Chris Wild of Breaking the Fourth Wall, and we are yet again here for another exciting episode. Happy to report that today I am not alone. I actually have with me Mr. Brian Hayden. What's up, Brian? How you doing today?
I am great. How about yourself, man?
I can't complain. A rough week at work. Unfortunately, we're a couple days late. Speaking of work, on this recording because of the fact that, well, Amadeus Thorne has got a new job, so he's still working out the details with his work schedule to be able to do this. I myself had a couple late days at my job, and Mr. Hayden has some personal things going on, so we do apologize for the lateness of this one, but we're here, we're doing it, so uh, again, we were supposed to last week and the week before. The week before we didn't record due to illness. Last week I had done the show by myself, and as I reported, we were originally supposed to do our wrestling top five and continue our conversation from about 3 weeks ago about the state of pro wrestling when we were talking about sports in general. We're still going to put that on postponement. It's still on our list, but it's going to be on the back burner because I'd rather make sure that we have a full panel. Uh, Obviously, I'd like to have Thorne in on